producer, like I've been in your Q&A before, so I've put the things together, I hired CEOs, I did this and that, and I've been very actively involved in building the thing, but then it runs on its own, yeah? And Niklas is the CEO, he has the vision for Delivery Hero, which is, by the way, very early days. And for me, the responsibility is to like the next projects are like as energetic and as impactful, and then match sort of the previous ones.
How about that? Come on. When you guys, obviously at a conference like this, you end up meeting a lot of people. I'm sure the ideas get thrown at you, and your email box gets full with pitches. What do you say to younger people who are having interesting ideas about what it takes to begin to develop them, what it takes to know how to pitch something, even as in your case it's a really terrible idea? What do you say to young people who come up and ask for advice?
You know, first of all, realize that most of ideas are terrible, right? And I think that is one thing. Like the problem is a little bit like when you become an entrepreneur, it's a lot about people who are quite self-centric, because if you not would have like self-confidence, you would probably not start a business. For me, it's two things. Either you are very self-confident or you're very naive. Yeah? The problem is that self-confident people have later on the problem, because you know, it's a very self-confident guy can run a company when it's small. But when it's becoming larger and larger, I think your self-confidence becomes a very problematic thing. And I think in that moment, you have to realize that then it's more about not about yourself, but about the company, and you have to be able to take yourself back. And I think that is something that a lot of entrepreneurs, you know, it's hard for them to do. Some don't have to do it because they are geniuses. I mean, like Steve Jobs, you know, if you're a genius, of course you can do that. But most of us, including me, we're not geniuses, so we cannot control the company.
How many geniuses do we have here today? How many geniuses in the room?
So some.
Yeah.
So you can. But yeah. So I couldn't run a company with 1,500 people this way. Yeah? So and then you have to rely on others. And you have to see that you take your ego back. So, and I think that is always what I tell young entrepreneurs, you know, be able to you know, take it back, you know, and relax.
What kind of advice do you give to people starting out?
And so my experience is that the world is very, very diverse when it comes to entrepreneurship, and there are like many different situations, so there's no one size-fits-all answer. Sometimes young people will come to me, they're very enthusiastic, they seem smart, and they have a terrible idea. Then I will not be nice. I will say like, this idea is shit, because I think I'm doing them a favor, and many people are too nice.
Well, that's very encouraging, obviously.
Yeah, but like then this goes back to your other question, like when to know when to give up, an idea, yeah. Because of like, on the one hand, a successful entrepreneur, and this is like, for me, it was certainly a success factor. Never give up. I remember as kids, we had like this: try, fail, succeed. And this is what we said with friends, because if you just stick to it. But it doesn't mean necessarily that you stick to your idea. You stick to the idea of becoming an entrepreneur, but you don't stick necessarily to the idea that you started out with, because you might not have been ready yet. But how do you know that you're ready? You know only in retrospect. So, yeah, so this would be one answer for a certain type of entrepreneurs. Yeah, then there's other type of entrepreneurs, like, I don't know, like the consultant investment banker who comes with experience, and then it's a totally different set of criteria. Usually they know what they do, but
I'm looking for a period, that's all. I'm looking for a period.
Usually they know what they... Are you sure?
Yes. Okay.
Voila. The French say voila.
Voila.
C'est tout.
I often believe that this is an example also of what we experience in trying to encourage people in the entertainment business, and you know, those that want to be writers, actors, directors, or producers. Is quite often you have to know not just what to tell someone who needs to hear some piece of advice, but you have to know when to tell them. And that's true with great directors. They not only know what kind of note to give an actor, they know when to give it. And sometimes people have to flounder around for a while and make mistakes so that they can learn from those mistakes.
I have a question to you, because I've heard that you invest in startups, and I've been wondering in your Q&A session, what motivates you to invest in startups? I sort of assume it's not that you don't do it like for financial reasons, or not mainly at least. Of course, this is a side condition, but like, what motivates you? What drives you to invest in startups?
Lots of different things. You know, I love good ideas. I think, particularly when someone comes up with something that's service-oriented. I also am very interested in new technologies in terms of what's happening in the entertainment business and how we're capturing both entertainment and how we're going to display it in the years to come. So I've been very involved in all sorts of companies in that way. And sometimes it's the individual. You may not even think maybe the idea itself, you're sort of taking a risk on it, but you think that the individual is worth investing in. And so sometimes it's about people. You both went to university, right? Did you go at the same university? Mm-hmm. Yes, at the same time?
Nearly.
Nearly. And what would you say you learned at school that maybe you couldn't learn outside in the real world?
For me, that's not so much actually. I know really. I mean, let's face it. Yeah. I mean, like studying business is not the smartest thing you can do. And no, really. I mean, today, if I'm looking back today, I would never
so
do it again.
So far I've learned. You have a terrible idea. You don't think about the future. It's stupid studying business.
It's good to really. I mean, no, it's true. I mean, if I would not do that, if I would not look back and say, hey, actually, if I would have the chance again, I would do it differently. I think then you're not learning. And I think that's like I would not recommend my children to study business really. I mean, there's just more fun thing to do. There's more intellectually challenging things to do. At the end, it's not about learning Porter's 5 forces model and so, right? So I think I took something away. It's not that I say I didn't take something away. So what I took away is, first of all, I learned, because my parents, I grew up in a restaurant. I didn't know about anything like investment banking or consulting or all these things. So what I learned was really, it opened up the world for me.